Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, all those who are listening to us who've been waiting on this program to begin. And I've been told that this is one of the number one programs in Trinidad and Tobago around this time in the evening. Um, Good evening to those of you who are listening to us in out of Trinidad and Tobago, in New York, Miami, and Texas in particular. Some of whom our listeners are in Canada, although the stage is set for football. There are still many of you who are listening to us, and we appreciate that. We know that because we look at the numbers on YouTube and Facebook and that kind of thing, and we also measure it by our volume of calls and everything. Um, we appreciate you listening to us. It is not all the time that we are here on time, but we try to be here as often as possible. This is a great show. This is the third umpires, and this show we examine most of the time. We examine what is in the news internationally, locally, and regionally, and we look at the show is coined in a cricket analogy. So we look at the bowling and the batting side for the most part, and we examine the wicket, we examine how they play, and we tell you, right? So we usually give a pretty okay match analysis, and you can probably chime in from time to time and tell us how we are doing. So those of you who are listening to us who are regular listeners, we invite you to continue listening. Call us when you think it is necessary. Call us and help us examine the game. And good evening. And good evening also to the owners and managers of this great radio station. And thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak into the lives of Trinidadians and those of you who listen to us outside of Trinidad and Tobago from time to time. Right? So this evening, as usual, we look at what is in the news, what is trending for the most part, remains more or less the same, every day. But I want to kind of like veer away from that a little today, and I want to talk about a story, a feature I read in the newspapers. I think it is page 19, I think, of the Guardian newspapers, and it had to do with our health. And I think I am no doctor, no medical doctor or anything like that, but I have some young medical doctors in my family, and but I am usually YouTube health enthusiast, so I look at a lot of these. I look at a lot of these health videos, and I cross check them, and I look at what all the professionals say from time to time about these things, and so I usually form my own conclusion with respect to health and what is good diet and that kind of thing. And so I was reading this article about colorectal cancer, and it you know it was essentially saying that there's a significant rise. Research are showing that there's a significant rise in cancer among persons under 50, colon cancer under 50, and they've attributed that to a number of things. Key among them, lifestyle, habits and that kind of thing. But we know that to a large extent, some of these things are sometimes hereditary, but not to the extent that it is how we eat and what we eat. And you might be wondering, well, what is the twist in this for me today? Because everything to a large extent relates also to the politics, and to a large extent I will get into that also. Now we just have about 5 minutes with you before we go to the break, but this particular segment will continue on the other side of the hour. So I don't know how many of you have been listening to us, in particular myself, from day one in the show when we spoke about food, the food we eat, and why maybe the government should take steps if it is interested in the health and the wealth of the nation. Why maybe it should take steps to probably curtail the bad foods, right? Remove some of the bad foods. So not necessarily. I mean, this is not China, or this is not Russia, or those kind of countries that basically control economies. But sometimes government need to do certain things to protect its citizens, and certainly we have a run on our healthcare system because you have a lot more people getting very, very ill, and it has to do with the foods that we eat, what we eat, our choices, how much we eat, and that kind of thing. And sometimes we need people to, sometimes people need other people to hold them in check. Sometimes people need other people to do extreme things to wake you up and to make you know that this is not good for you, or maybe you're eating too much of this. And one of the ways I have suggested over the years to be able to deal with that would be really for the government to make certain foods or certain things that are not good for you. And I'm putting it in the best way I can put it, very expensive for you, right? So I don't want to say outright what is not good for you, but I'll tell you what I think, what all the research are showing that may not be the best thing for you to be eating. And most of the time, our food habits are a result of, taste and custom, what we are custom eating. So from small, what we like. Things like sugar. Sugar is like cocaine to us, and it's not good for you. Sugar is just not good for you. Sugar is. I was looking at a researcher, a doctor, saying one time that sugar is probably. Let me just load on my phone. Yeah, that sugar is probably one of the most dangerous elements of food that you can put. It's like poison that you could put into the system. And you know something? You don't really need it. If you just reduce the amount, the intake of sugar, it's probably, we talk about high blood pressure and salt and that kind of thing. Well, sugar is probably the catalyst of that. And everything else, diabetes, everything else, all the bad things, cancer, all the bad things that could taking place in your body health-wise, sugar has a role that it plays in that, right? So those who understand what is the mitochondria and how the blood cells and how nitrates are broken down into nitrates and all that kind of thing, I wouldn't go into all of that, but you would understand why sugar is not necessarily the best thing to be consuming a lot of. But I started by talking about the colorectal cancer and what its rise, its prevalence among young people, and some of the key things that researchers have shown as to the reason what would have brought about that rise. The rise in the amount of red meat that we eat, processed foods, increase in sedimentary lifestyles, and that kind of thing. All those things are sometimes things that we could curtail, we could do less of, and it could help us, including regular things like screening and water, sleep, all the things that sometimes we not do enough of. And a big thing that I note that that sometimes helps our bowels would be fasting, regular fasting. You don't necessarily, long time they say you had to eat 3 meals a day, and you don't necessarily have to eat 3 meals a day, right? If most of the time we would continue to do things because we doing it since we're small. We get accustomed to it. Our body start looking for it. So our body will tell us, hey, you're hungry, in the morning, or you're hungry lunchtime, or you're hungry in the night, and that kind of thing. And you go out and you eat your full belly, you eat a whole set of crap. And then you tell yourself, well, okay, that's good. You're healthy. Well, the thing is, we need to first eat the right things. And secondly, we need to eat in small portions. Not because our body telling us we are hungry, we need to eat, a double plate. I once went to an event in Tobago not long ago, and I saw a gentleman trying to put on a plate big, almost big as the table. And to him, that was fashionable. And I'm saying, this gentleman going and spoil somebody's toilet. But we going for a break. And when we come back, I want to continue on this discussion because I want to have a lot to say about this particular topic. And I think it would greatly help a lot of people in Trinidad and Tobago. We pause for a break to pay some bills.
You've got bills to pay. And so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
When every hand start waving, it's KFC a craving. Extra crispy or spicy, it blazing. But don't get left back, you better run down the line and grab a KFC before it's full time. When the game start kick off, fingers get lick off. Dipping popcorn chicken in 3 kinds of sauce. But careful with your tackle, keep your hand out the box or hand your red card and point to the spot. Now you dip on, you dip on, you dip on, you dip. Get your hand in the action before a ball kick. Yes, you dip on, you dip on, you dip on, you dip. Somebody bring the KFC quick, I'm telling you. Get your hands on KFC's extra crispy or spicy popcorn chicken, starting at just $35. Or grab the winning combination: 3 pieces of chicken and 4 tenders for $79.95. KFC, it's finger licking good.
TechFlex TT Limited, the #1 computer store in Trinidad and Tobago, has all your tech needs. We have the latest computers, powerful MacBooks, and affordable Chromebooks for school and work, providing new and refurbished options to suit everyone's budget. Also, we carry a variety of printer options and ink solutions for your home and office needs. Need repairs done? Our experienced technicians can solve your tech problems. Visit us now at any of our 2 locations: Wilson Road, Scarborough, next to Royal Castle, or Penco Street, Montrose, Chagonas. Call 235-4919 for more info. TechFlex TT Limited. Affordable tech. Exceptional service.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday
from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM.
Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
When the first whistle blows, your instincts kick in. You grab the bucket, dip, tear, share, and crunch down for every finger-licking good play. KFC popcorn chicken is back in the game. So get your hands in the action with extra crispy or spicy popcorn chicken, starting at just $35. Try it with our winning sauces and get your hands messy with the drip. Or get the winning combination: 3 pieces of chicken and 4 tenders for $79.95. To satisfy every craving during game time, it must be KFC.
Peace of God be multiplied unto you in the precious name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. This is Redemption Hour, a gospel program where God will reveal His mind to you on how to live a fulfilled life and to please Him in all areas. Join Pastor Femi Afolabi, the National Overseer of Deeper Christian Life Ministry, Trinidad and Tobago, and other seasoned ministers for a time of divine encounter as they minister and pray for you every Saturday by 9 o'clock in the morning of this station, Street FM 91.9. Our church is Deeper Life Bible Church, number 1 Cochrane Street, opposite Tunapuna Police Station, Tunapuna. The times of our services are as follows. Sunday worship service, 9 a.m. Monday Bible study, 6 p.m. Thursday revival hour, 6 p.m. The redemption hour is a life-changing moment you cannot afford to miss. For special prayer or counseling, contact Pastor Femi Afolabi on 778-9933. God bless you as you listen to this program. Jesus is Lord.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yes, listeners, we are back, and I am Stephen Matheson. I am here in the studio alone today, and I started off this evening speaking about an article I read on the Guardian newspapers. It was page 19 on colorectal cancer, and I was more or less motivated to have this discussion today because, as I said, I am a YouTube health enthusiast apart from everything else, and so I have a little understanding of some of the things that happens with respect to our health, why we need to eat certain things, why we should not be eating certain things, and what eating certain things that we eat in Trinidad and Tobago a lot causes serious problems in terms of cancer and other things. One of the things that I would have read some time ago was that when we talk about eating healthy wouldn't necessarily make you live longer, but it would certainly make you live longer healthier. So some people die and they suffer. Some people die of old age. They may die around the same age, but they live a more comfortable lifestyle. And it is not very, very expensive to eat healthy. Sometimes we feel that eating healthy means eating cheesecake and eating steak and eating all those very expensive things. You don't necessarily have to eat all those things, and you can eat very, very, very healthy. If you just probably reduce your consumption of sugar, and sugar doesn't only mean sugar in the brown sugar or the granulated sugar that we use. It means flour and all the other things that are derivatives of sugar, or that sugar is a derivative of. And the importance of that, usually you eat more green vegetables, leafy vegetables. You eat less food than serve small portions. There's also a saying that you should take your food like medicine, for in later days you will have to eat medicine like food, and that is serious. That is really, really serious. So fasting is very, very, very important for your body. What fasting does, it gives your body the opportunity to digest your food properly. It gives your body the opportunity to put less work on your stomach and that kind of thing, which is one of the things that causes colon cancer, all the bad things we eat. And I was saying earlier on that key among the causes of colon cancer is the consumption of things like red meat, alcohol, cigarette, not going to the using the bathroom or bowel movement, proper bowel movements and that kind of thing. And there are a lot of symptoms of colon cancer, and there are a lot of symptoms that looks like colon cancer that sometimes we are fooled by. And the thing is, to a large extent, we do not get screening, and screening is something that, sometimes people have things like hemorrhoids and that kind of thing, and they would say, well, bleeding in your stool as a result of the hemorrhoids, when it might be something else. It might be cancer, or it might be, other things that are happening in your body that you need to get checked out. So, reading this article is very interesting. What they are saying is that the research is showing that more persons under the age of 50 are developing colorectal cancer. And the thing is that normally, or in other places, this is a disease that persons would usually develop over 60, 65, 70 kind of thing. This means that our diet is playing a significant role in the increase in this particular disease. It's telling you that you need to make some lifestyle changes and that kind of thing, and probably do more screening and the sorts to prevent or to capture these kind of situations early, so that it can be taken care of, so that you can live a more healthier lifestyle or a more comfortable lifestyle. The thing is, as I was saying earlier on, before when I started the program, that if you were listening to me when we were having this conversation about health and the budget, you'd have heard me say a lot of times that maybe one of the things, it might sound like a certain kind of control, but one of the things, if I was in government, what I would have done is that I would have made certain things that are bad for you very, very expensive for you to acquire, and take that money we're making from the taxes on that and put it back in the healthcare system. That is my solution for fixing, because there's a serious run or strain on the healthcare system now, especially in a time when we don't have the country not making any kind of revenue to be able to upkeep that system in a way, that level of what we call freeness in the healthcare system that we are accustomed to. A man would live for all of his life working for a whole lot of money, eating all the things that he feels that he should eat, that taste good, that eat it in large amounts, large portions and that kind of thing, and then get sick and have to spend back all that money he generated, sell his house, mortgage property and that to live. Just to live for a few months after he gets cancer. And it's very, very expensive to go to these medical centers for care. Care similar to the same care you would get in the government hospital, but it will take longer to get it. But the same care, even the same time, but you're paying millions of dollars in these institutions because you chose to do all the wrong things when you had the opportunity to do what you should be doing as right. You don't necessarily need to eat so much food. People, all those big people who eat, I don't want to say fat people or whatever, all those people who just overeat, you don't need to eat so much to live. You just need to eat enough to stay normal and healthy. So regular intermittent fasting is good. Eating things like leafy vegetables, eating more things like the right kind of fish. Not all fish is good for you, but the fish I would recommend is fish like sardine, mackerel, fish like salmon, sardine and mackerel, the three best fish to eat. And in Trinidad and Tobago, mackerel and sardine is not very expensive. And I'm not talking about the sardine in tin or the mackerel in tin. I'm talking about the mackerel you'll buy in the market. That is not very expensive still. And sardine certainly still is not very expensive. But those are among the best fishes in the world. All the researchers, all the scientists will tell you that. Those fishes are the best fishes to eat. Sardine, mackerel, salmon. Three best fishes. If you eat more of that, you could put on some more years feeling better, healthier in life. More salads without all those salad dressing and that kind of thing. Very good for you. It creates this roughage that your colon needs to digest food properly and to move food in your bowels properly, and to also for good absorption and that kind of thing. And of course, sleep. water. I'm guilty of the sleep part because I think with all that I do, I don't believe I sleep enough. But sleep is very important, extremely important. Water. Well, I was looking at some research some time ago, and I was saying as you go older, as you get older, the mechanism in your body that triggers thirst, you kind of lose that. So although you are dehydrated, you're not feeling thirsty, and so as you get older, you tend to drink less water, right? Maybe because your body metabolism slow down and you know, the thing is you still need to drink water. Water is very important. It helps good bowel movement for good bowel movement. It helps in the rejuvenation of your cells. That absorption, your blood thins your blood, not necessarily thins your blood, but it creates that your body need water. Your body's a percent, your whole body's a percentage, a significant percentage is water. So you need water. As you grow older, and this song like a health lecture I'm giving here. Sorry, I'm not a doctor or anything like that. But as you grow older, you need to do certain things. Water, in particular, in the morning when you wake up, and this is something I've not looked at one or hear one doctor or one health scientist say it. I've heard many of them say it. As you grow older, the water you drink, the normal water you drink, is not necessarily the best water for you. You should put probably a little touch of pink salt, Himalayan pink salt in your water bottle in the morning, probably with some apple cider vinegar or some fresh lemon juice or something, and drink that. That is very important. That should be the first thing you're drinking when you get up in the morning. But these things are very, very important because to a large extent, it may put some miles on your life. And not just miles, but it would make you probably live a little healthier, feel a little better, right? And these things are important. So I was really motivated by this story today, and I thought that we should have this kind of discussion before we go into anything else, because this is important. And I think from the political side, I think the government also has a responsibility, just like when you buy things and you bring it in Trinidad for, say, a swimming pool, they tax you a lot of money for it. Maybe the things that are bad for you, the foods that we import in Trinidad and Tobago that are really bad for you, they should put a lot of taxes on that too, because that will earn the country a lot of revenue to put back in the very healthcare system that you're screwing yourself with. I just say that is something that we should think about. I don't know why. I don't know if for whatever reason they are still trying to prop up the millionaires or the billionaires that import the food importers that make a lot of money on importing all kind of bad stuff for people to eat in Trinidad and Tobago. The factory owners that make all the bad stuff that people eat in Trinidad and Tobago, and I wouldn't call the names, but we know, right? The food with the excess sugar and the refined sugar and the artificial flavors and all that kind of thing, that is necessarily bad for you. And as I said before, what we eat, what we like eating, is really a product of our sometimes our upbringing, or what our parents encourage us to eat, or what our taste, what we like to taste, how we like sweetness, we like salt sometimes. All these things are really, really bad. If you stop doing that for about 21 days, if you stop eating sugar for 21 days, like I have stopped, I don't buy sugar again. I may eat little bread and things sometimes. I might eat rice, very, very rare. But these things are not necessarily the best foods for you, right? The monkeys and the wild animals and things that are more or less omnivores, just like us, for whatever reason, they do eat that, and they are healthier and stronger than us. So we need to think about that. We don't need to eat so much, and certainly from the government standpoint, maybe the government can do more to prevent us from harming ourselves by eating all the wrong things. And what they can do, certainly, is move some of those things off the shelf or make it very expensive for us to acquire it. And therefore, we wouldn't buy it. Well, those of us who would spend our whole salary buying it, and I don't even want to call the name of some food places, but you know, all these excess oil and you know all these things that we eat sometimes, these things are clogging up our arteries and killing us slowly. We don't even know it, but it is doing serious harm to our bodies. And this article on the rise in colon cancer among young people is a wake-up call. It should be a wake-up call for most of Trinidad and Tobago, because we are all guilty of eating the things that the scientists are saying that we shouldn't be eating or partaking in. And even if you like it, maybe you should start weaning yourself off it, or you should start probably eating, if you're accustomed eating it 3 times a day, just use it once a day and it will have the same effect. You'll feel good same way. Right? But I thought it was necessary to have that discussion. The number to call is 342-0081 or 466-5391. You can call me and engage me on this particular topic. I know it is not necessarily the politics and I try to infuse a little politics in it by talking about what the government could do to reduce, to change the lifestyle, because the government also have a role to play in this. But I know it is normally not the hot politics that we usually talk on evenings to attract our callers. But still, I thought it was important to have this discussion with you, because this, to me, is important. Good evening, caller.
Hey, how you doing, bro?
I'm good.
Very good topic. I say very good topic.
Right. Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
What do you think about the government role in reducing the amount of bad stuff that we eat, that is brought to our table by the importers? Huh?
I don't want to go there.
No, I mean, it's nothing to go there, because I
want to say this thing. The few things that you mentioned about early in the morning, drink your little lemon in the water and the outside and thing, and cut down your sugar and thing.
Yeah.
Very good advice.
Yeah.
I am agreement.
Yeah.
A lot of things that they expect the governments to do, past and present. Sometimes they don't even think about it. So nearly,
because
you're correct with that too. You know, me going down there, because them will do what they feel to do.
Yeah,
they don't really take on that how we think, and it is already true.
Yeah, the thing is, it is proven. I mean, you don't have to go far. You could see if you read the article. If you read, I visit YouTube all the time, and I listen to different scientists, different specialists talk about these things, and I form my own conclusion.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you, no, you're correct. You're very correct in what you're saying. The things they eat and very, very, very correct. I just had to tell me what the government should do this and that. They don't have time.
Yeah, you mean they don't have time?
I'm not bashing them, you know. They don't think along that line. Like they even care themselves healthy. Until some of them decide that they're belly they're carrying everything. This is what you see. You understand? Yeah, bro, but you know, most of the time we just cross. But this evening I agree with you. Yeah. All right? Yeah. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Okay.
No,
okay. Nah, he's not here today.
All right, bro, enjoy it.
Yes,
good topic.
I'm here alone today. Yeah? So, you know, it is really, really important that we eat right. It is really important that we understand what is necessary for us and what is not necessary for us. And the things that are not necessary for us, we don't need to indulge in it. Right? Taste is something that changes after about 21 days. So if you like plenty sugar, if you like everything sweet, I know people who just cook and just put sugar in the peas. You know. Long time I used to like that. Now, since I have stopped eating all that excess sugar, if I taste sugar in peas, I feeling sick. People cooking the nice lentils and thing, which is very, very rich in protein and that kind of thing. Sugar in the lentils. People putting sugar in the red beans. People putting sugar in the rice and all. All that is dangerous. Very, very dangerous for you. But the thing is, I mean, we are a product of, you know, what we are accustomed doing, and to a large extent, if that's what we look for in food, then we will always be looking for it, right? Oil, saturated fats, and you know, all that kind of thing. Those things are really, really bad for you, and just eating them at the rate at which we eat them, it will just make us very obese, very ill. It will just encourage or invite certain kind of disease, and these things will also put a run on our healthcare system, because at the end of the road for that is the hospital, and very, very, very expensive, medical care. We say it's free, but it's not really free. Just like the persons who say education is free, it's not really free, because we are all paying for it with our taxes and everything. So it's not free. Nothing is free, right? So the thing is, we really need to start taking. And if, as the caller said, that it makes no sense saying it to the government, because the government operates on popularity. So if it's not popular, then they may not necessarily do it, even though it is stifling and killing the system with the healthcare and that kind of the healthcare system and that kind of thing. It's not popular to probably make those kind of food very, very expensive. Then they just may not do it. But it is the right thing to do. And if somebody could do it and explain why they're doing it, then I guess it will be done with less protests, less pushback. But the thing is, we need to start to eat healthy. Sometimes we go down in the age and we start wondering, well, why it is we feeling so in the morning, we get up, we cranky, bones hurting us with pain and all that kind of thing. Listen, you could live the same life you're living at 25, you could live that same life at 55. If you do all the right things, you eat healthy, you don't necessarily have to exercise, but your movement is very, very important. You don't have to be doing strenuous exercise and doing all these things that these serious exercise enthusiasts do all the time, but it is important to do some exercise, do some brisk walking, and movement and that kind of thing is important. Always active, keep your body active, and also eat properly. You do fast a lot, and eat the right thing. Water is important, as I would have said before. Things like leafy vegetables and that kind of thing, very important. That gives you your the necessary refrigerant and that kind of thing to digest food properly and for good bowel movements and that kind of thing. And you would be good. You should be good, right? If you feel that is those things are maybe bad for you or dangerous for you, maybe visit your doctor, and your doctor will know your history, your medical history, and they'll be able to advise you what is the best thing to eat or drink. Not all doctors, and I'm putting a disclaimer here, not all doctors understand everything we are saying here, and not all doctors will recommend everything that we are saying here. Some will say maybe you should just go ahead and eat your red meat, eat it how much you want, that kind of thing. Just make sure and sleep, make sure and do all the necessary thing. I tend to disagree, but who am I to say this? I'm not necessarily a doctor, a medical doctor. So I just thought I needed to say this in this hour, and I would probably take a few calls on it, 342-0081 and 466-5391, and then we could probably move to another topic. Move back to what we are accustomed talking about on evenings, because these things are important. I don't know how many of you are observing what is going on with the US and Iran, which again is going to continue affecting us, because what is happening in the world today is that you know that 2 weeks ago the America and Iran had signed a treaty, not a treaty, an agreement, ceasefire agreement, and that would have allowed for the Strait of Hormuz to be reopened, and also for Iran's nuclear disarmament and a couple other things, which to me I've always said those are pie in the sky, because why would Iran give up its opportunity, the one thing that will allow it to not be attacked ever, for money or for nothing? And so said, so done. So that the world could probably kiss that whole signed agreement goodbye, because they are back at it, and it's getting worse. Although Donald Trump is talking about a meeting and coming back to the table, Iran is saying that they will have none of that. They don't trust America, and for good reasons. And we are at a state where things are beginning to escalate again. So the world is in turmoil, because what we've seen is that 20% of the oil that passes through the Straits of Hormuz is at risk again, and another 20% in Russia is now offline, because over the last few days, over the last few weeks, Ukraine has been exploring drone technology, and they are sending drones, and they've blown up about 15 of Russia's refinery, right? Put some serious damage. So much so that Russia, the gas station of the world, is now experiencing gas shortages, and has also, to a large extent, banned the export of oil or gas, to temporarily done so to other parts of the world. And when that happens, you now have almost 40% of the oil, gas that moves around the world offline. That would mean that things would become very expensive, including Trinidad, for Trinidad and Tobago. And those are things that we have to pay very, very close attention to, because those things will ultimately affect us also. That being said, sometimes we do not pay attention to the geopolitics. We either don't understand it, we are sidetracked by so many other things. We look at Western news only. We are nonchalant about what happens around us, to the extent that it affects us in a very creepy way, without even understanding where its true existence. And that is sad. I think we should start to observe what is happening around the world and how it's affecting us in Trinidad and Tobago. So I thought I needed to say that also, because that is something that is trending, and that is something that will ultimately affect us down the road. Things are not necessarily getting better in Trinidad and Tobago. It might be stable, but it's not necessarily getting better. What we observe, or what we witness in Venezuela, and by the way, that a very powerful aftershock, I think it was yesterday. But what is happening in Venezuela is not, and I will stress, is not, we are not insulated from that. That could happen to us. We sit on almost the same plane with Venezuela, and that could also happen to us. So we have to be very wary about these things, because these things will have very debilitating effects on Trinidad and Tobago should something like that happen to us. Right? We've never experienced something like that, so we can't even envisage something like that happen. We can't even analyze or rationalize, I should say, something like that happening. But these things could happen to Trinidad and Tobago. And these things could affect us very, very seriously. So we have to, my heart goes out to the people who are, still trapped beneath the rubble. Some of them are still alive. They are saying that people, they are hearing murmurs and they're hearing tapping and that kind of thing. Still, I understand yesterday some international rescue experts, they freed about 15 or 20 people in Venezuela, and that's a good sign. But time is ticking and time is running out, because every second, every minute that goes by and someone is not rescued who might have well been in a good position to be alive, their life sticks. I mean, they may die, and that is sad. That is a life loss that would otherwise be alive had it not been for that catastrophic occurrence. So that is another thing that I wanted to mention, because that too reflects to a large extent on our reality in Trinidad and Tobago. So I want to go back to since no one has called on the first issue that I spoke about with respect to our health. I want to go back to the issue of the preventative detention orders and the arrest of or the detention of the two business people. But in going back there, I want to refer to something I saw, a video. It was an old video of Karen Teixeira Nunez talking about the Mr. Biggs and the movers and shakers in the society who are heavily financed by drugs. I was looking at it sometime, I think it was sometime the day before yesterday. I was looking at that video. It's trending, it's circulating on Facebook right now. And she was talking about what Mr. Manning told her when he wanted to set up the Revenue Authority. And she was talking about, she said he called names. He knew who they were. So when this government come in office and they are making these arrests, or they are, no, I don't want to say they are making, the police is making these arrests. Yesterday I had a lot to say about what happens if this is a witch hunt. What happens if this is something that a politician get up and feel that, they feel threatened by a particular group of people and decide to initiate a situation where they are being arrested. I was saying that yesterday, but after listening to what, I don't know, I think I saw that video already, but it comes back to my memory now that with the recirculation of it on Facebook, that video by Karen Teixeira, made by Karen Teixeira Nunez on drugs and how it influences or how it affects our economy. And one of the reasons for the Revenue Authority, or the initiation of the Revenue Authority at the time by Mr. Manning, was to get to augment or to in some way interfere with that trade. And what she was saying is that trade is facilitated by the richest people in Trinidad and Tobago. In fact, she was saying that they actually became rich from that kind of trade. Caller, good evening.
Good afternoon, Mr. Matteson, and good afternoon to your listeners. Mr. Matteson, every time I hear sentiments like that from politicians, it is very troubling for me, because what it actually reveals is that both parties have exposed the shortcomings of the police by saying that they have information, right, of alleged criminal activity, corruption, but the police for years haven't seen to doesn't seem to have been getting that information or interested in getting the information.
But they're getting the information from the police, from law enforcement, and foreign law enforcement too.
No, well, in this particular case, we are seeing a different part being took, so we wait to see the end of it. But and previously, what has been existing before, politicians have continuously undermined or highlighted the shortcomings of the police by saying that they have this information and nothing really comes of it afterwards, or you don't see the interest of the police getting involved or trying to get to the bottom of what the politicians actually suggested might have occurred, right? The next thing is, in this particular matter, I see the judgment of the court today would have saved somebody some face as it relates to how the court would have ruled, right? Because if the court had ruled that they was to release these individuals, it would have opened a doorway for everybody that has been detained without being charged, PDO or not, to have some grounds to approach the court. And the second thing is, seeing that his attorneys were allowed the time to go to court, it might very well be that some persons could take that same avenue where, although they are incarcerated under the PDO, or they could get their lawyers to file some kind of thing so that they could get a look over what the police have for the courts to determine if they should be kept inside or released.
No, but if you read Regulation 14 of the emergency powers regulation, right? It allows for them to do. You remember yesterday we were saying that I think it was you were saying that that it, you know, why they don't do that for everybody else, right? In terms of but if you read the regulation allows for them to do that. What they did,
right? But you see, in this particular case, Mr. Matteson, as I said, they went on a different path. Firstly, in terms of not outrightly using the PDO, but using what would be the normal channel first, and then scooping up the PDO and attaching it on afterwards, as opposed to everybody who has been arrested and just placed under the PDO.
If you read, I don't know if you read, I think it's today's Guardian, with respect to why these people were really arrested, right? And it stemmed from maybe surveillance. So after the Prime Minister would have said, after the Attorney General would have said what he said about 3 weeks ago or so, with respect to no one, even if it's the 1%, you wouldn't hold the government at ransom and you wouldn't do certain things. And apparently, these people would have made certain utterances. And they were I'm just saying, it is alleged that they would have made certain utterances in relation to shooting politicians in the heads and all that kind of thing. And they were the newspapers publishing it. Apparently that was evidence came out somewhere, but they were very specific about what was said. So if in fact that formed part of the reason, and that was aired by the judges or whatever, that was made known to both sides, then I'm not seeing any way that anyone could say that they were falsely arrested or they were treated inhumane or anything like that, because the regulation allows for the authorities under this state of emergency, to do what they do with respect to quelling that kind of disturbance or possible disturbance.
Well, you're 100% right, and I totally agree. As I said, they took a different path. The only thing that I am kind of looking at is the two-sprung approach that they use in particular, right, where they use the normal course of action, and they later on, about a few days later, also attach the PDO to it. And I'm looking at it because of the nature of the allegation of what they are alleged have been plotting, right? Because I'm saying, if based on all the utterances so far from all the talking people, the state, the police, surrounding the SOE and its purpose, then I am thinking from the get-go, when the police get this information, right, even if they want to get warrant and these kind of things later on, the first thing that they should have done is arrest them under the PDO. But apparently they probably have been listening to our conversation, Mr. Matteson, where we have been asking if it is actually what they say it is, this SOE, then we ought to be seeing not only the financially challenged person in the country being subjected to that, where the rights are being taken away without a just cause. It's supposed to be everybody who they have information on. So apparently they're listening to us. But again, as I say, we wait to see how it plays out, because
But
we know
my question is, if what Karen Teixeira Nunez have been saying, and this is an old video, this is a video from probably about 10 years ago. No, not 10 years ago. Not 10 years ago. Sorry. This is a video probably about 2 years ago. Right? If what she's saying, then somehow, and to some extent, the influence of those, I don't want to say the 1%, because the 1% has already been characterized as a particular group of people, but the influence of those powerful people in the society who might be involved in these things are very heavy in terms of on the politicians and the police. How is it hasn't affected in any way or in any significant way the UNC administration?
Well, Mr. Matteson, the thing is, with all that information that Mr. Shearer and them is released, I hope that they understand that the position that these people were able to end up in, that they currently enjoy, was not only allowed, but it was facilitated, right? Because you cannot tell me that as a state, we cannot run certain entities so that it will be difficult for other people to come and monopolize.
But you're saying the right thing. You're saying the right thing. It was facilitated, but it was facilitated by the very authority that is now arresting people now.
Exactly. You understand? And it cuts deeper than just a UNC administration or a PNM administration. Because if knowledgeable and caring people had some foresight to see that as a state, we cannot allow one group of people to take over or control certain activities. We have to be able to do things and run it efficiently, you understand, so that these things don't happen. Because the moment they pull their assets and resources out of the market, it come like we get the rug pulled from underneath us, because we are not prepared for what will happen. Is either we will have to make the sacrifice by force, if that is to occur, but we're just not prepared. And it is because governments did not have the foresight, or maybe they did, and for whatever reason, they choose the route of allowing persons to capitalize on the shortcomings of what.
If you listen to the video, I mean, you must go and look for it. The video Karen Teixeira Nunez, where she spoke about, I think it's trended. I saw it on Facebook, came up on Facebook on my feed today. So clearly it probably is trending. But if you listen to that video, you beg the question, and that the question you're asking yourself, then what impeded the former government? Not the former government, but Manning from doing what he thought he should have done, or what they should have done to arrest this particular situation?
That is a very, very, very great question. And more than just that, if you have that information, is it that you would have passed it to the police, or you did not pass it to the police? And if you did pass it to the police, is it that the police got this information and really did nothing at the point in time?
She also alluded to the last administration, in particular Faris and some of them, and their involvement. She alluded to that and their possible culpability in all of it too.
And you see, funny that you mentioned Faris, because you see, Faris was previously in government, in the cabinet, the Attorney General, fully aware of all the things that he are defending his client against now in terms of the conditions, size of the cell, and all those different things. But I find if you're coming to the court to defend something, it's supposed to have more than just your client name attached to that in terms of complaining of the condition, because you cannot previously had been in a position where all you could have done something about it, and now you come in to complain that your client has to go through what the 99%
exactly
has to face.
Exactly. Exactly. When I heard that, I said, oh, wait now. So they didn't know people was going through that all the time?
And not just people, the 99%.
So maybe some of them
1% subjected to it now. Is a challenge, is a problem.
Maybe some of them 1% money should go into fixing it?
Well, the thing is, it's actually a good thing that it happened to somebody outside of the 99%, so that maybe something might be done about the conditions that people are forced to endure, even while you have not been found guilty, or convicted of whatever you're alleged to have been involved in. Because when you're arrested and you haven't been found guilty yet, for the duration of time you're still innocent, Even though whoever know and might believe that you're guilty, you are innocent until the court finds you guilty, if that is the outcome eventually.
Correct.
So maybe it's good that somebody outside of the 99% get to experience it. So we'll see if any changes will be forthcoming, so that everybody will be benefiting now. So maybe some hardship needs to fall on people who fall in that 1% category, so that the 99% could begin to benefit. This place is terribly, terribly upside down.
You know what Karen would have said. She said that probably 2 years ago or so, right? And I think the public would have heard it, but now it makes so much more sense. It makes so much more sense what she said there, that it is. It explains a lot. And it also explains a lot about the accusations made about the last administration and how they operated with that group of people.
But, Mr. Matheson, you see, Faris and them wanted people to take them seriously. He didn't have to wait for a paying client to come to the nation and beg the court to consider the conditions that my innocent client have to be facing, this inhumane living conditions. All these lawyers who have continuously been benefiting from the state. Where is the battery of you all who will go and genuinely fight for everybody who has to be subjected to those conditions, knowing fully well that they are innocent at the time that they are staying there because they haven't been found guilty yet? Where is that energy from them? You're not seeing it. And you probably definitely won't see it. The only party that could give props for that is UNC. You understand? In terms of wherever issue they find something in opposition, the lawyers will come up and reach out to people to give them that legal representation. But it's not forthcoming from the PNM. They talk a whole set of thing about taking the government to court for shutting down CPEP and European and whatnot. But if they did the right thing,
because it
the government
affected,
would
because
have
to a large extent it affected the voter bank.
exactly. And you see, if they did the right thing, the government would not have any grounds to come out victorious in the action that they took. If things were done by the book, where I's were dotted and T's were crossed, we would have never been here. But I think some people forget about is Eddie and whoever and this and Alwari were in terms of WhatsApp messages and all kind of thing, and people saying go ahead and do this when it wasn't actually passed yet in the cabinet. I said that nonsense, and still no redress for the citizenry, no redress for the country. The actual workers is who are to carry the brunt, because it's not like if they pick out the people who were involved in the corruption and deal with them, it's Peter paying for Paul. And I wish the country was wise enough to tell the government, if that is the course of action that you're going to take, every institution, every industry that you find corruption in, shut it down the same way and let Peter pay for Paul, if you're not going to go after the perpetrators. Anyhow, Mr. Matheson, I think I've said enough. I'm going to leave somebody else to come in.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So very, very, very interesting, very interesting discussion, and also very interesting twist to this whole saga, because yesterday I was saying that I was still probably introducing some doubt. Let's take a call from one of our umpires. Mr. Johnson, good evening.
Good day, good day.
Good day. How are you?
Stephen and all the listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last the last caller made some very relevant we got some relevant information, especially about where the those who were locked up from Westmoreland's on the west, and how the found their treatment at the police station was, and it's sad to know that
they're finding out that
they're now finding out that, yeah, and that's what we have been going through. When you're going to selling in the station is only concrete, right, and a toilet,
and
that is it,
and cockroach.
And well, I've experienced the cockroach, but it was really, really a sad case. But Karen Tishara Nunez, her revelation.
You saw that? You saw the.
Yeah, I saw it, and what it showed is that, as it stated, Manning and the UNC, I think Kamala was the last Prime Minister, were unable to deal with it.
Right. So I wondered why. What was happening? Was it the police service? Was it?
We all know that the police service is corrupt. I want to believe that our alliance now with the Americans,
right,
is what is facilitating this.
They're allowing us to be able to.
Yeah.
They're giving us the real time data and information and
whatever support we will need, because we don't know if our TTPS can handle. All half the TTPS could be in their pocket.
Probably.
So we can't trust our TTPS.
For all half the TTPS might be going and get arrested just now. And
for all
some of them might be under the PDO.
Yeah.
Because
when you read through social media, a lot of people, and it's something I would have stated last week. This is a take out, create a vacuum, and somebody else moves in. And we all know who will move in.
Well, I don't want to go there because I ain't seen that. But what I'm saying is, clearly something has changed. There's some shifts, some tectonic shift in the
USA
system.
and DEA involved. Yeah.
Huh?
That's the USA and the DEA giving her their support. So that's why she feels that, yes, we could do this now.
Okay.
Well,
in any case, that's good, because
That's good.
We not only seeing the blue collar criminals or the people who would have facilitated the 1% or the white collar criminals, because from what Karen was saying, when you look at Laventel and Beetham and Mova and all these places, she said that these people, to a large extent, they were like the not facilitator, but they were helping. They were paid servants of the white collar criminals.
Yeah.
And
no. Who you saying? You're saying the government?
And the spoils of what they bring ended up in those communities to destroy them.
Yeah. Correct.
The guns
because with the drugs you must have guns.
Yeah.
You know,
so that is sad.
It's a loss for the communities, yes.
Yeah. So what is happening now? Apparently some people is talking. Some people are talking, or the US intervention is probably creating a serious, massive wave in the system, and we may see more arrests very soon. As a matter of fact, the Attorney General would have said that 3 weeks ago when he spoke, and we've seen it happen. So some people, if they know they was involved in that kind of thing, should be very, very concerned right now. But anyway, Vivian, we go in for a break. We are on the top of the hour. I'd like you to call us back at on the other side of the hour, right?
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Yeah. So call us. We go for a break.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we.
Yeah, right?
Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Join us.
Strictly local radio show, blazing the best positive hits out of TT.
Hottest radio show.
Welcome. You are now locked in.
Every Saturday, 6 to 8 p.m., blazing the very best in Trinbago music and more, sending the heartbeat of the Twin Islands straight to the world.
This service is a massive communication product that aims to provide a new media platform for local TT entrepreneurs.
You're now locked into one of the hottest radio shows.
Send us your voice notes or call in live and rep your district. Whether you're in East, West, North, South, or Sweet Tobago, this is your show, your sound, your culture.
Hottest radio show.
Strictly local, hosted by the one and only DJ Flex 868. Don't miss it. Every Saturday, 6 to 8 p.m. Only on the streets 91.9 FM. The vibes, the culture, the sound of Trinbago.
We blaze all the best in TT. Hashtag rep your district. It's a whole lot of flavor wrapped up in a twist. Some of them try to rap, but they don't rap like this. With crispy KFC tenders and lettuce and carrots and shredded tortilla embedded, perfect wherever you headed. Dripping with that creamy mayo and that mambo sauce. Let me tell them one more time to get my point across. It's a craveable, crunchable, movable, functional, flavorful meal that your taste buds must endorse. KFC, crunch twist, crunch twist. None of them, they don't make them like this.
Introducing KFC's Crunch Twist, a flavorful wrap with a delicious difference for just $29.95. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yes. Callers and listeners, we are back, and we were having a little discussion on the arrest or the new revelations that was brought to the front. Well, not necessarily new revelation, but what a former Minister of Finance would have said relative to drugs and criminal activities among a certain group of people in Trinidad and Tobago, and how long it has been going on, and how it ties back into this arrest. Now, I am not saying in any way that the two individuals or the three individuals before the police are in any way guilty of anything. That is not my business to say. But to a large extent, what is now becoming a revelation, it tells a story and it leaves a particular trail with a lot of questions to be answered, even from politicians before, even politicians that just left office. Good evening, caller.
No.
Caller?
Yeah, Mr. Matteson, very quickly, one thing I wanted to add into this discussion, because I'm looking at this Christmas list issue, I'm waiting to see if the state will get it right, because you can't have somebody that you charge, right, and have their court date coming up, but you also have a next arm of the state that doesn't allow them to come to the country. They need to get the act together. It's either you're allowing the man to come and face the charges that you lay against him and get rid of this deportation thing where he is between a rock and a hard place.
That's the Christmas list issue?
Yes.
I don't follow it. I didn't follow it.
A few nights ago, he made a next video speaking about his case. The court date is supposed to be coming up, but he is not allowed to travel to the country. And if he doesn't show up for court, then he will lose his matter. And losing the matter, I think he outlined what was the penalty, if it's 2 years imprisonment or how much ever. But
well, maybe it wasn't designed. Maybe when the chargement wasn't designed, it wasn't the intention for him to come back. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that the state can get the act together. The two arms of the state need to come together and find some sort of resolution in the matter. I mean, what is we really paying people for? I love to listen, Mr. Mattis.
Okay. Yeah, so we have a lot of anomalies in the system, and it sometimes shows up and demonstrates how bad it is in Trinidad and Tobago in relation to our criminal justice system and everything else. Good evening, caller.
Good evening, Matteson. Chris, the government gave Christmas list the okay to travel to Trinidad.
Okay.
They did that today. They banned him from the country, yet he had to appear.
Yeah.
That was a conflict they had, but they resolved that today. I believe today they gave him the clearance to come back to Trinidad and face the courts.
Right. So that's good.
So Chris,
natural justice could take its course.
Could take place. It could take place.
That's important. Well, how you going?
I good, man. I good. I listening. Yeah, I watching the sunset by the seaside. Yeah.
What you think about What do you think about the fact that them fellas and them realizing that a cockroach and they can sleep and that kind of thing in prison?
Well, when they building a case to sue the state, that is how I see it, and they know that.
Then everybody have that same. Everybody who's held right now will have the same case. People have been saying that for years.
Well, if they have the money, they could win the case. That is how the game is. The game is a money game and no matters. You understand? And you get justice. Rich people, the laws wasn't written for rich people. And we know that. You see this thing what's going on here? This is a nice piece of theater I enjoy and I'm watching because I do not have any trust in our legal system to put these people behind bars.
Yesterday, listen to the show yesterday.
I get in between pieces of here.
You heard what my theory was?
No, you're very pressure.
So I was really saying that I was really asking the question, and maybe it was just a hypothesis and it was wrong. I was asking the question, given what was happening, given the heightened attention placed on the Samaru issue over the last few weeks, and the fact that the young lady was arrested and that kind of thing, I was wondering if the arrest of this gentleman and his family was a red herring to move us away from that, because Trinidad and Tobago is that kind of 9-day wonder kind of place. We forget everything as we move away. So I was asking that question. I mean, I just put that out because I mean that is something. It's very possible.
But you answer yourself there. When you say we have a 9-day memory, this issue here right now with the 1% lockup, it's too much of a distraction. For that.
So I was asking if it's a distraction, but I don't know if you saw the video that is trending Karen
With
Teixeira.
Of course, I saw it when she put it out
Right.
a few years ago.
Right. She put out that about 2 or 3 years ago because I remembered that.
I think it's more than that, but
yeah, it could be more than that because she was talking about Farris, the number of times he was recused. He recused himself, and then if he recused himself, why is he still in Parliament? Why is he still there? Right?
Well,
so much times.
I sorry to cut you there, but when Teixeira came out with this information, I told my friends we have to say goodbye to her from now. I'm surprised she's still here today.
She's still here.
It's amazing, because that information, while she didn't call much names.
Well, Teixeira don't have a little bit of money, you know.
So, but I was scared for the lady, I must say. I got scared for her. Yeah, I got scared for her.
No, but what she says,
this country operates.
What she said make a lot of sense to me now.
Well, of course it makes making sense, and I could tell you why. This court here going on here right now will go to a certain distance until politicians from both sides names start calling and being pinned. Because these fellas didn't amass wealth on their own, right?
So
somebody had to take a little...
It appears as the shackles that was on the police service has been removed, and some police might go down too. Because if the US is involved, some police officers might go down too.
Police, I think, would be the pawns in it. I talking about the big boys. I talking about the politicians and them. Them is the fellas and them who could give you land and sign off deed. And I think the people who could do that from PNM and UNC and give them aquifer and thing, them is the people. Because I sure this man I sure this fella cover his rear end when he was making them deals. In case that day you flip, I have information to stick you and shut you up.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, I mean, this thing get going in our place. When the AG said what he said about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was very concerned because to me it sounded like politics. But
and he was there, and he was in PNM.
Yes, and he was there around the time with Karen too, if I'm not making a mistake.
Right. Then you're figuring out why Kama would bring a bunch of ex-PNM into the party.
So he becomes a vessel to deal with us now. He probably might be the best person to deal with it because he know where all the bodies are buried.
But that is what, and your partner too. Your partner know where the body's buried too, you know? I think he working with one of them right now because I heard Kizel Jackson do a video the other day. And she said, Kamala and Philip, are you visiting Norman Sapga? And he always go there regular to meet him. And then this Mark boss, I say, So I think it's pizza versus water. I'm telling you, this could be pizza versus water. A 1% using the state to get rid of another 1% to take over.
All that too.
I want to be in total agreement with that.
Vivian said that too.
Well, I like when he said it because I said it before. 1% using the state to get rid of another percent to open the doors. That's what they do, you know. You break down the table and you build it back up, sitting at the head. I'm telling you.
This is chess. This is chess at
of course.
This is real chess.
But the sad thing about this chess game is at the end of it all, the taxpayer is going to have to compensate these monsters. No matter if they're right or wrong, they have laws and they have the legal backing to say, hey, my client was disturbed, you destroy his name, his character. Because when the big names start to call, because a magistrate name call and they hide in the name. Imagine when you have big fish like because he can act alone, right? He need help. There's a lot of them involved, and when these people's names start calling, this case go just dissolve. He go just die off and what's saying.
You see the Attorney General, I like and respect him for. He don't play, you know. That man don't play, you know, from a long time, you know.
Well, you see, these fellas again, according to philosophers, these are great actors. They are great at what they do. They look serious, that, all kind of thing. but no substance when you're really coming down things. But we go watch. We go watch and see. This is seasons. This is not a one-off, and this could be in seasons.
Well,
this becomes summertime. We got Christmas. Got seasons at it.
Because this look like it's going to.
It go at distance. It go at distance.
You have a gun for
and I will tell you what. UNC need this to run a little long because nothing happening in the country. So you need something to occupy the people.
Well, that was my theory yesterday.
Look, Titan going down. The biggest methanol plant have to go on idle. That is not no joke talk, and I walk inside here, you know. There's a monster, you know. That's the biggest methanol in the world, you know. And that going to idle with about 5 other plants. When you're walking through Point Lisa now, it's like a ghost town, you know, brother.
Well, you see what happened in Russia. You see what happened in Russia. Russia 20% down. They take off 20% of the gas off the market because of what happened in Ukraine. So,
and next door, gas flaring into the sky.
Yeah.
Right next door, flaring away. So they need this. You see this story? This had to occupy them for 2-3 years until gas come out of the ground. You have a good evening, Matheson. I listen to you. Watching the sunset, brother.
Yeah, thanks.
You take it easy, man. Nice show, man. All the time, and I appreciate all your fellas, you know. I really, really appreciate all your fellas. Chris, you, Rolex, your umpires who just visit. I really, really appreciate that.
We have one online right now.
Oh, right, thank you. I can't have voice, but I know if it's you or he, and then.
Yeah, he here too.
You know, today's social media had 2 lawyers who came out in defense of the magistrate.
Right.
Right next to the 2 lawyers was a senior magistrate. So I would want to assume it was him. So you could Google through social media and you should see it.
Yeah, I know they are alluding. Too much alluding. Yeah, I know
you mean Israel Khan, but Israel Khan was saying that.
Israel Khan, and then you see.
No, not Israel Khan. Not Israel Khan.
Yeah, because Khan was saying that.
Man. He just pop up all of a sudden. He pop up.
Yeah.
But
all right, fellas. I'm taking any show.
Okay.
I'm coming off here.
Yeah. So Vivian, what you really think? I mean, you heard what I said yesterday about the red herring.
No, I didn't hear.
And how I felt about this particular arrest, but I might have been wrong to even suggest that, because the Attorney General, the person who he is the type of person he knows how to get here. Right? So I hear you and my partner talk about the chess game and one replacing the other. I don't know how relevant that is, but what is your take on that?
Talk about the chess game and one replacing the other.
Huh?
Well, it's all about finance, Stephen. And I want to go way back to when we had the so-called drug laws some years ago. They were from past Shogunas going down.
You mean the Ramdani and
I mean Ramdani and Dolce and then you had our super AG, Ramesh.
You had Naya and
Naya, yeah.
Them fellas from right in Aranguez and them kind of places.
And Bata, yeah. You know? So we have persons who would like, who maybe are in the game already, or would like to come back on a bigger level. No, you have no. Madison, you know, money rules the world, and you know that we have lots of corrupt persons in Trinidad. We have seen it. You know, we have seen massive buildings going up and staying empty for years. You know, and you and I cannot go to the bank, get loan for millions of dollars. We had to show the bank how we're going to pay this back. We had to show the bank that we have prospective tenants and a business plan to show how this money paying back.
And even with that,
so when I building
even with that, you ain't getting that money. So now
and even that you're not getting that money.
If you really you want to do something, you have to build that with your own money.
You know, so, and we as the poor blacks, we know what is a sacrifice and build something. You know, not all black persons are bad as they want to portray. You know, but we know who have the ambitions, and ambitions will get you a thing they say everywhere. You know, and this may be that game being played out.
I don't believe that though. I think that I don't believe that. I think that this was something. The man who is behind all of this was waiting patiently, probably years now, to be able to do. Right? Because this...
Well, I mean, there are a lot of theories going around, eh?
Listen. Yeah. This, what's happening here was, since I small, I hearing about drugs and US dollars and who... The only group of people that could get US dollars to do certain things and the amount of drugs that passing through the country and that kind of thing. I just couldn't understand. I couldn't fathom because trying to be able to have so much pipers, the kind of drugs they're talking about passing through here, we're not using that here. So
we're weed smokers.
Right? We are weed smokers. Yeah. Right? But even with that, the drugs passing through as a transshipment, it facilitates other things. It comes with guns. From all the information, it says that it comes with guns, and the guns usually stay back. And if the guns stay back, you could now understand why we have so much crime. So it is, if you really want to attack the crime, that's where you had to start attacking, and maybe the US is playing a significant role in all of this. And they have the kind of technology like Israel and that kind of thing to listen to everything, to know who is who and that kind of thing. And maybe they're sharing that kind of information with the government now. They probably had it all the time.
Well, I am not disagreeing with that. But the end game, somebody will take over. It wouldn't be Matteson. It wouldn't be Vivian Johnson.
You mean somebody will take over doing the same thing?
Of course.
No, you had a higher belly to do that, boy.
Not if it's part of the cabal.
I want to your partner listening to you, know. Your partner listening to you.
No, but Madison, think seriously. And the other callers always say it. Yeah. It's true. I studied that. But think seriously, Madison. Donald Trump let the president of this country go back home, who was guilty of bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars of drugs into America. Because Donald Trump knows that drugs have to sell.
Repeat that. Donald Trump led the president of this country. Who's the president? Who president?
No, not this country.
Oh.
Donald Trump had a president held in America. He got a presidential pardon and was released to go back home. Right? This person was guilty of bringing in $400 or something million of cocaine into the USA. But Donald Trump gave him a pardon and sent him home. And then Donald Trump bombing all our boats. All the boats in the Caribbean waters. Because they supposedly have drugs. So is he for drugs or is he against drugs?
Well, that's a different kind of politics. I know still trying to figure out what was going on there. But what if what we are thinking is happening, then I think that's a good thing for Trinidad and Tobago.
If it's legit.
Because what was happening all the time, the servants, right? And the man who working in the kitchen And all the P-Watts, who as big as they probably thought they were wearing all the gold and all that kind of, as big as they thought they were nothing as compared to the real kingpins. But they were feeling the brunt of it. They were dying. They were also being blamed for everything. And now we are seeing, according to Karen Teixeira Nunes, now we are seeing the real. We are seeing evidence of it. And we are now seeing as a revelation that people are now going down. And I'm almost certain that there are more who will fall very shortly.
Well, once they're guilty, I agree. I hope so too.
Yeah. But there's
now the sad thing is that our government now, a lot of persons have no faith in it because of what they said they were going to do. And then when they came in, all the drastic measures they took at the mercy of the poor people. You know, so people, if you come in and you hear people giving you stories after story after story, when they're finally trying to do something good, people have no faith. And I think that is what is going on.
Well, my position with that is that, you know, I mean, people are to be sensible. People are to be able to read the thing real good. Right? Read the tea leaves. And the thing is, yes, we spoke about this on this program without you already. Sometimes governments to get in office, sometimes you meet a girl and you tell she all kind of thing. Just to get her where you want her. And then when you get where you want, I saying men in general, I'm not saying me. But when you get where you want,
not me either.
When you get where you want, you see your true colors. Now the thing is, this is what politicians do. Politicians say, sometimes make promises they can't keep. Sometimes they say things that the feelings that they feel they will get them into office, and then when they get into office, they are held to account for it, or they are held at the expectations are great, and people lose confidence, they lose goodwill and things. But this government is only 1 year into office, and if we are seeing, but I could say me, I don't know if you see the same thing I'm seeing, but clearly what the Prime Minister would have promised, she's making a serious attempt to fulfill it, right? And as bad as you might think Philip Alexander is, when he talk about he seemed to have some kind of rendezvous or something with the 1%, but he have a problem with them, something. But clearly, and I'm not saying in any way that they're guilty of anything, because at the end of the day, due process have to take its course, and these people have to go to court and whatever. But clearly, the ducks seems to be lining up with what was said, with what has been said years now, and with the assistance of the U.S. government and everybody. We are seeing apparently the shackles are being removed from the police. And but what I would like to see also is some police go down, because a lot of police would have facilitated the madness that took place in this country over the years. Right? A lot. And I would like to see also that, that we deal with all of that, because we've been saying that all the time. We've been saying that one of the things in this country that is creating a lot of problems is confidence in the police service. And
legitimately.
And if we could solve those kind of problems, if we could arrest that, if police could start wearing body cams, police could start accounting for things, police could have multiple ways of detaining or arresting someone, as opposed to just a long gun. And I don't know if you're trying to frighten people. Imagine you in Port of Spain and you shooting at a bandit with one of them gun. That makes no sense. You're going to kill innocent people, right? I driving all it was, and I see police, the driver and all have a galil or a gun taller than him, on his lap. I don't know how he maneuver in a vehicle with a gun around his neck that big. That makes no sense to me. Right? You don't see them thing in like Sudan and them kind of places. You don't see them thing happening in the US and even big countries like Europe and even England. Right? You even see policemen with guns.
Yeah.
But you seeing that happening in Trinidad and Tobago, you're asking yourself if it's either a police state or if you're in Sudan or somewhere in Africa in some place where continuous wars and that kind of thing. It makes no sense to me. But I think that we need to address a number of things about the police service. We need to address a number of things about confidence. I am no national security expert, but I look at a lot of travel sometimes and I look at what happens in other places, and what we need in Trinidad and Tobago is intelligence as opposed to brute and fear, trying to fear the public with certain things. I don't know, what is your take on that?
No, I will have to agree with you on that, because the police modus operandi has always been to rush in and barge in.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean,
they,
I look
they
at
know,
some. I look
they
at
know
some
they need a
catches.
warrant.
Mhm.
They coming in as though they have a warrant.
Mm-hmm. And they're not doing
And
the
they have
millionaires.
nothing in their hand.
They're not doing the millionaires that.
No, they're not. Well, we saw that within the last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not
They had
doing
it.
millionaires
They
that.
was perfectly okay to do a PDO,
Mhm.
but they went and get a warrant,
Mm-hmm.
and that to go back still to the PDO.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which the judge said was totally legal today.
Totally.
You know, legal,
Right.
and that is why they're still detained.
Of course.
Yeah.
Which is what I've been saying for the last day you was on the program, and now it is if you have if regulation 14 of the emergency powers regulation allows for you to do that, then why what was the need to, and our caller Chris says that all the time, Bailey says that, I mean, what was the need for the warrant anyway?
Hopefully, maybe to throw the blame away on the judge, rather than to see that Inspector Vivian Johnson, come into your house and search your house without a warrant. So they put the blame on somebody else.
But why the fear? You don't have that kind of fear when you go in a poor man's house. If they come in your house, they come in and kick down your door.
No, but yeah. What fear? they fear the rich person. Yeah, and that is why we took so long to reach where we are now.
And that's why we maybe, and when you listen to Karen Tishera Nunes video, that's why maybe nothing was happening before, because of that same fear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because
Fear,
they sound like they was trying to tiptoe around this thing, with the revenue authority and all that kind of thing, right? When really and truly, they could have just go to the source and fix the problem. You follow?
Yes, in total agreement, yeah.
So at the end of the day, what is happening, and I really look forward to seeing how this ends, because there was an indication that more will be happening. And let me take a call. Hold on, Good evening, caller.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Great program as usual.
Mm-hmm.
Good afternoon.
The strange thing is that piece of land that they occupied there, that Blue Waters,
Mm-hmm.
that was bulldozed by the UNC when they came into power, Jack Bona, Kamla, and Munilan, for HGC, that they were going to build houses and things.
Mm-hmm.
So how that came in the hands of these people is an interesting thing, probably with the previous regime, but good program, and you had a very good topic early on too. That health issue was very good.
Yeah, boy, that's serious, that real serious, I mean, people don't understand how serious that is, boy.
The toll that it takes on our health system, the cost that costs to treat these people with diabetes and whatever and so on. And oil is one of the major factors that affects
Listen,
Bad
the three things or the 3 or 4 things that has become staple in our diet, and it's very expensive, by the way, and poor people use it the most, is oil, sugar, flour.
Right.
Most dangerous. When I say oil, not all oil, vegetable oil and the saturated oil.
Most of these oils are not good. The best, in fact, they say the best oil to really use in cooking is the avocado oil.
Coconut oil too. Coconut oil to some extent.
You have the white coconut oil, and then you have olive oil, which just say try not to cook
olive oil will can heat.
Too much heat.
Yeah.
Right.
But coconut oil, the cold pressed coconut oil is very good too.
But coming back to this issue, I totally agree with a point you were trying to make. It could be the timing of this could be a distraction, of the real issues.
Yeah, I was saying that up to yesterday.
The country was going on a certain avenue that the people were awakening in a different type of mood.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And this I want to agree with you with that. Because that we have seen that with the previous regime. Every time an issue come up, there's some distraction of this and some distraction of that.
Correct.
You understand? Because
and that's why I said what I said.
Yes. I mean, it's good that you have programs like these that you're not one-sided. You're not yellow wash or red wash.
Yeah.
You understand?
We try to keep it very balanced here.
You understand? Red, white, or black. So, the thing with that minister's daughter that was held with the drugs and thing in Westmoreland, we never really, I never heard the outcome of it. I don't know,
I myself, I wonder what has become of that. Maybe somebody would call us and tell us what has become of that, because I think she was if I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I think nothing came out of that. She was freed.
As far as I know, nothing. But I do understand that I think she did a law degree and she might be a lawyer somewhere.
Somewhere, nothing to that, yeah. And I think they opened up a kind of room, as the caller said previously, and Chris' great contribution as always. It before on both sides, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the thing is, the question that remains very prominent in my mind right now is why, if what Karen Teixeira is saying, and she's referring to things from years ago.
Right?
Why those things were not dealt with in the way it has been dealt with now?
Yes.
That's my question. Because they seem to have been trying to go around it with the Revenue Authority. Right?
Exactly.
And I don't know, Manning probably would have feared something or something like that, but the other administration after Manning came and went dive into it and was just normal.
They were normal. Yes. Look at it. Imagine a man got arrested for illegal quarrying, and then he was given permission to come back and continue quarrying. Do the same thing in Trinidad. Illegal quarrying in Tobago. Come back in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's well nonsense. We as Trinidadians are sick of. As I was saying yesterday, what are the condition of road that we have grown accustomed with?
Yes.
You're driving on a road and you have to stop to go through a hole. Everybody, you just grown accustomed to this type of low grade. You know what I mean? And countries that do have the kind of income and never had the kind of income that Trinidad had.
We do have the roads like us.
Yeah, because the roads in those countries, these smaller countries, are,
Well, they have less traffic and that kind of thing, less vehicles and that kind of thing on the roads. But at the same time, we have the resources. We have the kind of resources we have here in pitch and that kind of thing that seem to be growing out of the earth 24 hours a day. I mean, it's amazing the state of our roads right now.
But we have to pay the Chinese for that right now. That's so.
Yeah.
Because of the Malcolm Jones issue.
Mm-hmm. So it's,
We
I
have
mean,
to-
it's very, very.
What is the real story with the pitch lake? Who owns it? Or who?
It is leased to the
We
Chinese,
keep
I think.
hearing about the Chinese.
There's some kind of probably agreement
Because
between
they would,
the,
I think, they had to pay them off when they scrapped the oil to gas, the liquid gas thing with Malcolm Jones.
Okay.
And I think that was a form of compensation. I think so.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but I think that's what I heard some time ago. Yeah. So, because a man showing the pitch deck alone could have paid all Trinidad bills and have us living comfortable. And
yeah, comfortable.
And the derivatives from the pitch.
Paving roads all over the world.
And the derivatives from the pitch as well. You understand?
And we have the aggregate, we have everything.
And we had pitch, we had cocoa, we had coffee, we had sugar.
The only thing after the refinery closed, I think we might have had some problem with the bitumen. But bitumen, we could get bitumen from some of those, I think it's either Barbados or Jamaica or one of those places. So, I mean, it's not a problem.
But I hope when they start to dig these type of holes that they're digging now and sees the type of, I mean, people might fall to it, you understand, and see the type of income that these people and then end up with, that it could go back to try some type of development in the country.
Right now, I think people must be wetting their pants right now. People who in that business by Viviana.
Yeah. The big ones. They ain't studying the small man.
Because it look like they're going after the big ones now, boy.
A lot of the big ones move out of Trinidad already, you know.
No, the thing is, I mean,
They them in Jamaica and they tell them in Jamaica right now. You understand?
So the thing is, I've said, right, and this could have a really debilitating effect on Trinidad's economy. If it becomes a trend that this is where we are going, and people may feel disenfranchised to some extent, these people could easily pack up and go.
Yeah, but when they pack up
and so we may have to weigh the pros and the cons of all of this too, because this could affect all of us, the economy itself. Because I mean,
to a certain extent, because remember that money already coming back into Trinidad, that money.
No, I talking about the business. I talking about the business that looks like legitimate businesses.
Right,
that
they have the
employing a lot of people.
Right, they employ a lot of people and so yeah.
So you saw Blue Waters today was assuring their workers that everything will be okay and everything will be normal and that kind of thing. I mean, that is the concern by every worker who working for, people who might be called to answer questions before the court.
True.
And that's a concern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a serious concern. So
that is just a recurring cash. The real cash don't really the flow out.
well, yeah, of course. But you had to do something to make it look legitimate.
I think they also have to look at I think they should try to cut down on the importation of the new cars and them boys. Too much of vehicles.
Listen, let me tell you something. How this thing going from what we're seeing, and the Attorney General and the Prime Minister hinted to that when they made the statement about 3 weeks ago. It appears as though the U.S. is funneling information to this government and this national security on what's going on. So it is almost certain that they have the information that they need already on these people based on the amount of U.S. dollars that is coming out of the country or coming out of the system and going into the U.S. banking system and treasuries and different places all over the world.
Different places all over the world, yeah. The flow.
So the U.S. is very good at tracking them thing and knowing who is who and that kind of thing. So if that information fits what we are looking for and falls under our law to arrest people will get arrested. People have a lot of questions to answer.
But they have to make sure that as how they went to get a warrant, they have to make sure too but they're making sure that they go down the right road. They don't want to make any mistakes. You understand? So we just have to watch and see what's happening. And we just have to encourage and enlighten people and continue with the program. And Chris and these other callers continue awakening people. You know what I mean? And we looking on.
Mm-hmm.
Take care and all the best, my
Madison?
brother.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Fabian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The US have a system of where they can monitor once you transfer in US.
Mm-hmm.
So once you use that SWIFT system, which everyone uses,
Yeah.
China have their own system, but
China, the only system, Russia
so
now,
you could be here in Trinidad, buying your merchandise, selling your merchandise. This merchandise going up to the US, right? Money flows through the SWIFT system.
Mm-hmm.
You get in charge for money laundering, even though you never step foot in the US.
Yeah. And
that's how it's done. So they have their way. They know exactly what is going on with the SWIFT system.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So I know I had to be worried because a couple of years ago I did transfer some money to buy some equipment, but there was legitimate funds. So I know thinking back.
Nah. I it was a one-off thing, you know. Somebody had to live, but once it becomes regular, and that's a problem. And that's where they know you're building and you're becoming a threat.
Yeah. And they start you end up under the radar. And I think they have technology like the Israelis, like Israel. I mean, the same kind of technology where they could actually by a phone number. Once you have your phone number, anything they want to find out about it, they could find out at any time in real time.
Yeah.
They know where you are. They know everything. And they could touch you. So it's very interesting that if that kind of information sharing is taking place between the US and Trinidad and Tobago in relation to these kind of transnational crimes and white collar crimes, people may go down.
Yeah.
People may go down, and that might be a frightening thing to people who involve in criminal activity. One thing that really catch my attention in what Karen Tishera had to say, and this is a video I knew I would have seen it before, but I didn't really put the kind of attention to it that I put in now.
Yeah.
Right? One thing she said is that these people who are involved in this kind of transnational crime and thing, they use the small man. All them fellas who wear the big gold and all them things, them have that kind of money to be able to do them kind of crime. So they are the servants of these people. They use them. These fellas now get wild, they have money, they get wild, the thing. But what them getting is crumbs. And the paying for it for the blood and the lives in the streets of Trinidad and Tobago because they're stupid. While the real men who think they just quietly they doing what they have to do, and somehow I feel that there are a lot of police and that kind of thing involved in these kind of things too. And I wait to hear how this ends, because this may not necessarily end well for the police either. You there? All right. It looks like we lost.
How's it me? Yeah. Yeah. You know what you're saying is true, because somebody would have been protecting them all the time.
Exactly.
And it may come out that the TTPS may be involved, which is a sad thing, but Trinidad needs it. Trinidad needs this purge.
Yeah, we need a cleanse. We need a cleanse. We need
a cleanse.
It may have some fallouts, but we really need a cleanse in Trinidad and Tobago. Save some lives. Lives will be saved. Right?
Yeah.
All the people who feel that they need certain kind of protection, well, I don't know how they'll deal with it, but it's looking like a kind of domino thing. The dominoes, the knobs fallen.
Yeah. I would like to see how many of the high interest persons flew out the country this week, within the last week.
Well, listen, over the US, it tell you how much place they can hide in. Because once the US involved and you get activated,
yeah.
If you go there, you'll get taken down too.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go in other places like Europe and these places where there are extradition treaties and that kind of thing, you might also get taken down too.
Yeah.
So you gotta be careful where you're going. You gotta go and hide somewhere in the Caribbean or something.
I got to go Argentina.
Or Argentina. Well, you go to my Mille, boy. Who's your favorite in the football, boy?
I was supporting Germany. I've always supported Germany because 20 years ago I was in Germany for the World Cup. And the love I showed that the Germans show for Trinidad and Tobago, I know no other country would ever show that. And Germany is out.
Yeah, boy, Germany gets sad yesterday, you know, boy. And that was the same fear I had for Brazil. If they go to penalty kicks, that could very well happen. But Brazil fate was a little different. Although there are people, there are those who might be listening to me now and saying, "By that side, by Brazil, by that side, they're going away, boy." I ain't counting them out.
Yeah, people. I think most people wish that Japan had won yesterday.
I wonder why. When Brazil played Haiti, I wanted Brazil to get licks. I wanted Haiti to win that game, boy. To me, Haiti was playing real good football. Haiti was playing real good football. It's just that it wasn't finishing. But I wanted Haiti to at least score a goal, boy.
Yeah.
But it wasn't finishing. They wasn't finishing at all. But I now that Brazil still is inside, I mean, against all the odds, I supported Brazil still.
You're backing them?
I backing Brazil still. I want to see what happens.
Once it have an African team, I backing them.
No, the African teams, you want to back them African teams because some of them playing real good. Some of them playing real good. Not side playing real good, but this African side, but there were a lot of white people on that team. I'll tell you what's the name of the team. They're playing real good football, boy. It's Morocco? Yeah. Morocco.
But they have a game going on now?
I don't know if they play. No.
I
don't know who playing.
Yeah.
I only when Brazil playing, you find I will be glued to my television.
Yeah.
I'm a Brazil fan since I was small. Long time I used to support France and Argentina and all them kind of time. Let me take this call. Hold on. Yeah. Good evening, caller.
Good evening, gentlemen.
How are you? I haven't heard from you for a few days now.
Yeah. Yes, I'm blessed. Nice weather in the West. I don't know if you all saw, I just bounced up on this article, Express article from 2025, where, I think it's the 10th of September 2025, where the U.S. Supreme Court ordered Brian Quaitong, Steve Ferguson, and Raul Gutierrez, or whatever, some name like
Gutierrez,
that. Right, to pay back to TNT 131,000 US. I don't know if you all ever heard that. I just want to know if we ever got that money.
131,000 US. That's
yes.
No, 131 million.
131 million or thousand?
Million.
What
was million.
It's million. Yeah. Because
the last thing I heard.
Yes.
I mean, through social media is that people still asking the question if the money was paid.
Well, I want to know too. Because we need that money because Minister Tanku keeps saying he had no money and he can't pay the public servants the rest. They can't get bonds. They can't get things up to now. I still waiting for my back pay for the retirees, OG. So I would love if we could get that money. But so far, we haven't heard. And these are the questions the media, these reporters should be asking. Because that was since last year. Look, September coming just now. We should know if that money was paid or not. Yes, and September
I believe,
would have been in office. So,
are you familiar with Mr. Eversley, who normally protests and?
Yes. Oh my
well,
God.
he has been. I think that's one of the questions he has been asking.
Very good.
Up to it in the last couple of weeks.
I must give him a call. Now, the next thing I want to find out, y'all remember there was a murder. There were 3 murders in Barracourt in 2011.
Yes.
Where
the police,
2 ladies
the police
and
shooting?
a guy got killed by the police.
Yes, I
Alana
remember.
Duncan, Abigail Johnson, and Karen Eccles. Right? 6 officers were charged for that murder. One turned state witness, the lone female, turned state witness against her colleagues. I think it's WPC Clement is her name.
Yeah, she refused to give
and
evidence.
she reneged on it. She refused to testify, and the case got thrown out, and the 5 officers went back to work normal, get back their work.
Yeah, well, due process, I mean.
And I am asking, did WPC Clement ever went back into the police service? Because
that's a good question.
I asked that already. I say, and I must ask it on Beyond the Tape, because the police must be able to say, because I could remember, imagine she reneged on her testimony. She refused to testify. As the lawyers say, she became a hostile witness. You caused the case to collapse. And she was so brave to ask the DPP. She wanted to be sent out the country.
Well, maybe her life, in her opinion, was greater than.
Of course.
Than testifying.
Yeah, remember, she almost caused 5 men to lose their work, and they would have been incarcerated if they had found guilty, whatever.
Remember, I don't know if you listened to this program. I said I have a friend who was a senior police officer. I don't know if I could say he was one of the good ones, but he was one of the better officers, in my opinion. I know the guy for a long time, and I know him to be a very honest and straightforward person. And he told me, he said, listen, let me tell you something, Matheson. A good police officer in the police service is an endangered species.
Oh, no, you serious?
Yes, he told me that.
He said that? Oh,
he
my
said
God.
a good police officer is an endangered species, because he said police officers who are corrupt, there's always be looking around to see who see and who know and that kind of thing, and they're always watching.
Oh my goodness, yes. You know,
there's a senior policeman telling me that.
I was so glad when my son did not get through. In the police service, he did everything. The last thing was the lie detector test, and Jesus, when he did that, and he was waiting like Dorothy to be called, and he never got called, and I was so glad. You know, he tell me, he said, "Mommy, oh God, I know you pray for me not to get in." I said, boy, as if my prayers was so powerful, I would have prayed long time on you for plenty things that you do. I'll say, what? I said, that was God's work. And I was so glad.
You remember, you always talk about Scott Drug report. You remember that lady, a police officer that would get killed? Was it a police
Bernadette
officer?
James?
Bernadette James, yeah.
Yes.
Right.
In the vehicle.
So that what happened.
That was a big drug thing that she see, as you say, as the police tell you, you know, you have to be careful where you see, you see something, say something.
Correct. You see where you know, sometimes where you know could be a demise.
You're sure right. Very dangerous in these times. Not me, afraid Carl. Yeah? What? You got to be kidding me. Let me tell you, I was so glad My son waiting, and he only hearing Bat going in, and he ain't calling, and all his friends going in, and I tell him, I say, boy, you ain't to go in there, because you can bring up your child as honest, as good as he was, and as your friend told you, you going in there with all the training, and if you can't thing with them, and you playing use Mr. Honest, you ain't gonna last long in truth. I was glad, and thank God he left, and he in the U.S. Army right now.
Right.
He's
That's
a sergeant
really, okay.
That's really
Very
good.
in the U.S. Army. His friends and them just tell him, oh God, boy, good thing you didn't get in. Look, we still constable. He's a sergeant in the U.S. Army now. Oh, Jesus, Lord. My God is awful.
And will get a lot more respect from his government.
If what?
And he will get a lot more respect from the government, the U.S. government, than the...
Yes. And let me tell you,
Yeah, so let's came across it.
I never knew, never knew the U.S. does respect the soldiers, whether serving or not. He is a veteran now or whatever. I never forget when they said the passing out parade, and I went up to North Carolina for it. And we gone to a restaurant to eat, and all the family and thing, and the lady who cashed in, she called him out the line. He was going to pay, and she called him. No, my brother-in-law was going and pay. And she called my son, and she told him, she say, if you pay the bill, you all will get a discount. And that was the same day he passed out, but he was in the uniform. And I say, what? I said, look how them dishonor the soldiers. Imagine, I couldn't believe it.
But guys, we on the last few seconds of the show.
Yes, okay, so you all have a good evening. Reach home safely.
Tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
You all tomorrow, guys.
Okay, blessings. Bye.
You've got bills to pay